Yes.
Yes, अलका जी, yes, मैं दिल से हिंदुस्तान से ही हूँ, from the
अच्छा,
way
मगर
how,
आप बाहर हैं, बट आप कहीं
हाँ,
अच्छा,
बस
alright.
कम वक्त के काम के लिए हम बाहर.
Okay, there goes the line.
Yeah.
So are you, Deepak, are you actually by the seaside or just
recording in progress?
Yeah, I am in a country where is surrounded by all the side by sea, Singapore.
Oh,
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So just then I found this one very wonderful, what you call the virtual background.
Okay.
Okay, that will keep people distracted so that whatever I said. Well, so that is one of the ways you can just get your message fast.
All right. So a big hello to you. Hola, konnichiwa, bonjour, salute, zadravo, zadrasi, mabuhay, marhaba, aloha, sanu, salam, and namaste. Greetings of love, greetings of peace, greetings of happiness and joy to each and every one of you who have joined us on today's virtual platform, where we are actually deliberating upon different SDG goals, beginning goal 1, and we are on day 11 today. This is the World Peace Summit 2022. A big welcome to all of you able excellencies, brothers, sisters, ladies, gentlemen, our chief guests, our guest of honors, our keynote panelists. Thank you so much for joining us today on this World Peace Summit 2022, organized by Vishwa Bharati United International Royal Council. It has been a wonderful journey of 10 days already, and there have been a lot of deliberations, and we have been discussing Sustainable Development Goals 1 to 10, and trying to find out solutions. And not only that, the solutions given were very doable. It's not just talking about the SDGs, but it's actually SDGs in action. So people have presented how they're actually implementing it. And I think that is the need of the hour. Today, our excellencies, our erudite panelists, our chief guests and guests of honor will be deliberating on goal number 11, which is all about making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. This is one of the 17 SDGs in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development at the UN. And how can we sustain cities and communities, make them healthier and more sustainable? This will be the focal point of our deliberations today. And I'm sure all of us, each and every one of us, are really looking forward to the deliberations, to the sharing, to the doable action policies that everybody will be sharing. And yes, of course, it's going to be a journey of learning, and more learning. Well, before we begin, I would like to invite the brains behind the magnum opus, the World Peace Summit 2022, two of our very power-packed speakers, the power-packed individuals, power-packed human beings. First of all, let me invite the State Chair, Global Human Rights Foundation, the President of the Telangana Kala Parishad, the Managing Director, Times India Television, Chairman of Vishwa Bharati United International Royal Council, and he is a loyal promoter of arts and culture. He's a filmmaker, a skills trainer, and a social activist. Ladies and gentlemen, able excellencies, I am talking about the Honorable Dr. Raja Rao Pagidipal. Dr. Raja Rao, please share some insights about World Peace Summit 2022. Thank you so much, Dr. Raja Rao. I mean, incredible work going on. In fact, I would say it's absolutely mind-blowing because we are doing something not only for ourselves, but for general, for the entire global community. So it is not only a responsibility for us. It's not only something for us, it's for everyone. And when something is there for everyone, it makes for a more inclusive world community. And that is what our aim is. So now I would like to invite another personality who is responsible for the fantastic proceedings going on of the World Peace Summit 2022. I would like to invite the charming Dr. VJE Caroline, who is a professor of English and Environmental Studies, counseling psychologist, international speaker, faculty advisor, innovation and entrepreneur cell, faculty advisor for the Engineers Without Borders, chairman of the Life Foundation, managing director of Vishwa Bharati United International Royal Council. She is a soft skills trainer, a TV speaker, and not only that, she is a multifaceted personality. So I would like to invite Dr. Caroline, Professor Dr. VJE Caroline, to share information about the Royal Council and also to throw some highlights, some insights about the going on World Summit 2022. It's over to you, Dr. Professor Caroline.
Thank you very much, dear Alka. Thank you for inviting me. A great good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all the honorable chief guests, dignitaries, and the keynote speakers, viewers, whoever gathered here, and making this summit moving ahead in a great way, only because of the blessings of Almighty and the blessings of the great supporters, mentors. In this way, I can do a number of names to the people who support us and who are behind us, in front of us, helping us to move ahead and make this World Summit in a elaborate way, supporting the nation. Thank you very much. I would like to say a few lines about our organization, Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council. It is established under the government of
Dr. Caroline, you're muted.
I repeat again, Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council. It has been established under Government of India, Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013, to be the symbol of the unity and peace for all nations, and dedicated to ending poverty by improving and empowering the lives of vulnerable population around the world and spreading the culture of peace, harmony, and tolerance. Royal Council mainly works in the area of various disciplines like cultural exchange, agriculture, food, health, education, research and development, environment, sustainable development, child welfare, and women empowerment. Our core values are integrity, diversity, and equality. We are known everywhere for our unshakable commitment to the dignity of people. Our council promotes cultural exchange and cultural development programs that support responsible and sustainable management policies and practice at cultural heritage destinations, and in order to promulgate the importance of authenticity and integrity, protecting heritage values. We mainly focus on research and education, and we would like to create awareness and by conducting awareness programs. And our objectives are abolish unemployment, and we want to empower the youth especially. And our center focus is mainly on women and children, girls and boys equally, and health services and cultural exchange. Under the umbrella of Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council, there are two organizations, sister organization. One is Telangana Kala Parishad. It is led by Dr. Raja Rao Pagdipalli. And the other one is the Life Foundation. the chairman of the Life Foundation, it's me, led by Dr. Vijay Carlin. Telangana Kala Parishad mainly focus on weaker section population and promotes cultural exchange and to have a great value and promotes culture between the different nations. And in this way, we can bring harmony and unity among the population of population of different nations globally. And also migrant workers. Rajarao Pagadipalli mainly concentrated on migrant workers. And during COVID time, especially, they have undergone a lot of trauma and they faced a lot of problems and there were great issues. And Dr. Rajarao Pagadipalli brought the conflicts, issues, problems of the migrant workers to the government of India. And he has seen that they have supported in a great way to reach their places, native places from the place of work. So, and other campaign Dr. Rajarao Pagadipalli has taken is farmers, Save Farmer campaign especially. And he supported farmers and has shown his solidarity to the farmers as India is mainly agricultural country and the farmers are the backbone of the country. And the Life Foundation mainly focus on population, vulnerable population who are below poverty line. So the Life Foundation has adopted slums of Hyderabad. It is of 500 acres of slums, and the Life Foundation has supported mainly women who are in a devastating state in all the areas because of the financial lackness, because of the problems created by their head of the family, and children are addicted to bad habits, even including the family members. So they are in the devastating state, especially during COVID, because of financial lackness. They suffered a lot. There is no employment during that time. They were without any food, they starved. And it came to the notice of the Life Foundation. Life Foundation immediately rushed to the slums and supported women and the family who are in devastating state by providing them provisions, rice, dal, oil, sugar, even tea powder, because they're much addicted to the tea. Without tea, they said we are getting headache. So provided tea, powder, sugar, and all the provisions which is needed. And notice that children of the slums are simply roaming without having proper education. And then immediately the Life Foundation has set up study centers in the slum and seen that the students of the slums been admitted in the schools. And also in the evening hours, as the parents are illiterate, they cannot take up the projects or homework, whatever it is given by the government schools. So the teachers of the slums who are degree, only one is in degree, one is in intermediate. So in this way, only 2 or 3 members are educated in slum. So we encouraged them, motivated them to take up, to run the study centers in the evening. And the slum, it is run by slum only. Only the Life Foundation is supporting them financially and also by supplying books, then whatever the stationery required. And during exam time, they said that they doesn't have the stationery, pen, pencil, scale and all like these pads and all. So we motivated to write the exams well, and we provided them all the stationery, whatever it is required for them to write the exams without any obstruction. In this way, the Life Foundation is taking great steps in supporting the people who are below poverty line, and also supported the servant maids locally, and who are during COVID, they too rushed to Life Foundation, and they expressed their devastating condition or the financial, economical low status of their family, and they are not having proper food to provide to the children. And immediately the Life Foundation provided rice bags and other provisions to the servant maids also. And we support journalists also, who are poor journalists. In this way, Life Foundation, wherever found that there is some requirement, either in the form of a food or provisions, or even provided food during COVID. So we cooked rice, curries, and also vegetable biryani. In this, we supported them in all the areas, and we are still all the 3 years they are satisfied with their life by the Life Foundation has taken a lot of measures to support the vulnerable. So, and women said that as the male are not supporting the women, they want to have the self-sufficient lifestyle, that is by economically they want to be strong. So to have the sustainable life, we have set up the tailoring center in the slums, and we have seen that one teacher is the teacher gives some training to the vulnerable women. So in slums, especially slum women. So then learning now 3 months it has passed, and I'm seeing that we are approaching some training center. They can have the certification. So with that certification, they can move to, they can go approach banks and have a little loan, and they can start their own tailoring center and all. And we are moving on to establish beauty courses in the slums. We want to empower them. So many slums are approaching. So if we have sponsors and supporters, we can move on, and we can support n number of slums in Hyderabad and Secunderabad. In this way, the Life Foundation is supporting population below poverty line, and the Telangana Kala Parishad supporting the farmers and migrant workers and also weaker section. So this is our objectives, and what we said on the Zoom platform, we are implementing physically and making the population to be strengthened with the support of sister organization. And Wish of Humanity mainly focus on peace and also on the sustainable development. So with the little steps, we want to move on and support the United Nations, which want to see that it has to be accomplished by 2030. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you. That was impressive, very impressive indeed. And hats off to all the good work being done. I mean, true Samaritans of the society, of the country is what I would say. And yes, all the various organizations who have been providing help to all the people, in various areas and all stratas of society, especially the underprivileged. I think that was really a very noble task that was being done by the Kala Parishad, the Life Foundation, and also the Royal Council in terms of world peace, which we're seeing in terms of sustainable development goals. So there's a saying that the best way to find oneself is to live oneself in the service of society. And I think you all are doing a wonderful, fantastic job at that. So once again, kudos to that, a big salute to that. And yes, here we go on day 11, and we begin our deliberations now on SDG goal number 11, where we have the very prominent speakers, very prominent chief guests, able excellencies who will be shedding light and providing us solutions as to how to achieve Sustainable Development Goal number 11. So with the chairman and the managing director's go signal, may I now invite our very first chief guest to shed some light on SDG goal number 11. And I would like to invite Professor Khairuddin Sudarmin. He is the faculty adjunct professor, Asia Metropolitan University, Aligarh Muslim University, AMU. So, Professor, a big welcome to you, and let's hear what you have to say about this. I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts about SDG goal number 11. A big welcome.
Okay, sorry. Thank you, Alka, Ms. Majan, for the kind introduction. I like to correct a little bit in your interpretation of the AMU at the end of the university. AMU stands for Asia Metropolitan University.
Oh, okay. Asia Metropolitan University.
Yeah. All right.
Please forgive me. Apologies.
Okay.
Yes.
No worries. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, everyone, tonight, it's 10 o'clock here in Malaysia. Now, I'm given 10 minutes, but I got about 100 slides to share. I'm just kidding. So I will just, quickly run through and the subject area. I mean, there's so many ways to skin a cat, and there's so many ways we can look at it, in different contexts about the subject area. And I think a lot of it has already been put very nicely in detail. So tonight, I'll just zoom in on the SDG 11. If you don't mind, let me just share my slides, yeah? Okay, thank you. Okay. Is my slides there now? Is my slides there now? Ambassador
Yes, it is, Professor.
All right, thank you. Right, next one. Okay, that's it. The SDG, Sustainable Cities and Communities World Peace Summit. Okay, I wouldn't waste time on that. I'll just zoom in on this. Okay, that is my prologue. Now, there are some people who begin the zoo at the beginning. They go to the zoo, they call way in, and then walk as quickly as they can, past every cage until they come to the one called way out. But the nicest people go straight to the animal they love most and stay there. So I dedicate these 10 minutes of my blabbering, okay, to those people who are interested in open fields rather than closed cages or rather than closed minds. So I hope, as very nicely been put forward, all of us should have a very open mind about what's going on in the world today. Only then can we achieve our, objective of ensuring or sustaining peace. One, without peace, we can forget about all the SDGs. So I think peace is fundamental. Okay, let me move on to the next one. Okay, and then I was going through and I was looking at Wikipedia. Quickly, let's talk about now. When you talk about peace, you're talking about anti-war movement and the peace movement. You have the peace advocates, the anti-nuclear organization, anti-war movement, and all that. Conscientious. I won't go into the detail. Then the ideologies, you have ahimsa anarchism, anarcho pacifism, all the Christian anarchism, anti-imperialism, okay, non-violence, pacifism, all that, okay, that comes under ideologies. Then we have the media and cultural, the arts, books, film, International Day, non-violence International Day, peace dialogue, okay, world peace, blah, blah, blah. And then we have the slogans and the tactics. We have a bed in Central Park, be in draft, okay, die in, human be, make love, not war. I remember those days when I was young, all the hippies. Make love, not war. Peace walk, soldiers are murderers, teach in, whole world is watching, all that. And then we have the opposition to specific wars or their aspects. War of 1812, American Civil War, Second Boer War, World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, and the list goes on, okay? Protest war, terror on Iraq, war on Afghanistan, war, military action, Iran, Sri Lankan Civil War 2011, intervention in Libya 2022. We come right down now. Very recent. Even as I'm speaking, it's going on. Russian invasion of Ukraine in Russia, landmines, military, taxation, nuclear armament, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the countries they put here, okay, I got this from Wikipedia, okay. Probably some countries are not there. Canada, Germany, Israel, Netherlands, Spain, Sudan, UK, United States, peace building in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, as an example. Let's move on. Okay, this is the SDG that we've all been talking about, and I'm sure we're all familiar about. And tonight, I'm not sure whether I'm the lucky one or the unlucky one to kick it off, and we're talking about 11 sustainable cities and communities, okay, the SDG 11. Okay, let me move on. Now, what is SDG 11? Quickly, it aims to renew and plan cities. Let me just put, I can read, okay. Cities and other, and plan cities and other human settlements in a way that offers opportunities for all. See the keyword, the opportunities for all, with access to basic services, energy, housing, transportation, and green public spaces while reducing resource use and environment impact. Okay, that's what Google says. Let's move on. Okay, now, SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. What does it mean? Make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. SDG 11 aims to renew and plan cities and other human settlements in a way that offers opportunities for all with access to basic service, energy, housing, transportation, and green public, I said already a short while ago, while reducing resource use and environmental impact. Let me move on, right? Okay, now, some of the global key figures that relates to sustainable cities and communities, okay? Some relevant global key figures related to the SDG, okay, provided in the UN statistics include, number one, half of the world population, 3.5 billion people, lives in cities today. And 5 billion people are projected to live in cities by 2030. 95% of urban expansion in the next decade will take place in developing world. Number of slum dwellers reached more than 1 billion in 2018. 25% of urban population. Only half of the world's urban population had convenient access to public transport, 500 meters to 1 kilometer distance, and access to open public space within 400 meters walking distance along a street network, 2019. Now, air pollution caused 4.2 million premature deaths in 2016, and over 90% of COVID-19 cases are from urban areas. And just yesterday, I was watching Bloomberg and reading some latest news, and it looks that the COVID that's going on in China now is even bigger, even more worrying than what happened in Wuhan. So they really have to take care of it. My worry is, some irresponsible, just get out of Shanghai or Beijing and then go elsewhere in the world. Oh my God, the chain will start all over again. Let's pray this doesn't happen. Okay, and it's our responsibility, all of us, all over the world. Now, what are the key targets for the SDG 11? You have target 11.1, safe and affordable housing. 2, affordable and sustainable transport system. 3, inclusive and sustainable urbanization. 4, protect the world's cultural and natural heritage. 11.5, reduce the adverse effects of natural disaster. 11.6, reduce the environmental impact of cities. Provide access to safe and inclusive green and public space. 11A, strong national and regional development planning. 11B, implement policies for inclusion, resource efficiency, and disaster risk reduction. And 11C, support least developed countries in sustainable and resilient building. I'm sure most of us already know it, but it's like a reminder, and it's like reinforcing, us again. Okay, now, the SDG again, what are the targets? Now, SDG 11 set out 7 key targets and 3 additional targets, which I mentioned just now in summary, for resource mobilization and policy to be achieved by 2030. The 10 key targets are: number 1, I like this. You notice I highlight them in in color. Ensure access of all to adequate, safe and affordable housing and basic services and upgrade slums. Provide 11.2, provide access to safe, affordable, accessible, and sustainable transport systems for all, improving road safety, notably by expanding public transport with special attention to the needs of those in vulnerable situations, women, children, persons with disabilities, and older persons. 11.3, enhance inclusive and sustainable urbanization and capacity for participatory, integrated, and sustainable human settlement planning and management in all countries. And 11.4, strengthen efforts to protect and safeguard the world's cultural and natural heritage. 11.5, significantly reduce the number of deaths and the number of people affected and substantially decrease the direct economic losses relative to global gross domestic product caused by disasters, including water-related disasters, with a focus on protecting the poor and people in vulnerable situations. Let's move on. 11.6, reduce the adverse per capita environment impact of cities, including by paying special attention to air quality and municipal and other waste management. And 11.7, provide universal access to safe, inclusive, and accessible green and public spaces, in particular for women and children, older persons, and persons with disabilities. 11A, these are the additional 3. Support positive economic, social, and environment links between urban and rural areas by strengthening national and regional development planning. By 2020, 11B, substantially increase the number of cities and human settlements adopting and implementing integrated policies and plans toward inclusion, resource efficiency, mitigation, adaptation to climate change, resilience to disasters, and develop and implement in line with the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction 2015-2030, holistic disaster risk management at all levels. And 11C, support least developed countries, including through financial and technical assistance in building sustainable and resilient buildings utilizing local materials. Let's move on. Now, the pace of urbanization across the world has been dramatic over the century. In the 1900s, there were 12 cities in the world with population over 1 million. Today, there are more than 900 such cities and 35 mega cities with more than 10 million inhabitants. And Russia, 2016 now. Access to public transport and affordable housing, along with clean air, water and energy, proper waste management, and increased human security are the key priorities for any community living in such urban environments. It is imperative that the physical and social infrastructure in an urban ecosystem need to be modernized. The transformation of cities with digital technologies and IT-based solutions enable opportunities for enhancing urban services and living. The introduction of IoT, platforms in cities will improve the quality of service delivery with optimized resource utilization. That was UNESCO 2020. But I think after the COVID, the last 2 years, everybody is talking, and I think a lot of webinars I've been attending, the whole world is talking about digitalization. So this is what the transformation is all about, especially with regard to cities and digital technologies. Let me move on. Okay. Now, further natural and cultural heritages are also also need to be protected from external shocks and natural disasters. All these efforts require engineers. You see, suddenly you come through engineer. Because I borrowed this because I came across this was an article written by an engineer, Majid, from Sri Lanka. And he was focusing on the engineers. And I liked it. And I thought this would be a good time to boost and bring up again, the spirit of the engineers, who play a key role in developing sustainable, resilient, and smart metropolitans, and particularly in their contribution is vital in the urban and rural development policy making. Now, in this context, how can engineers contribute to attain sustainable development goals? SDG level, sustainable cities and communities, which is to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. The activities under SDG 11 include various sectors and teams and have obvious engineering relevance and requirements associated with them. Okay, I had to start, before I forget, to apologize with the other, professionals, the economists and stuff like that, because I'm focusing on the engineers. I'm not an engineer. I have a love-hate relation with them. It is the right time for the engineering community to identify key priorities and contributions from engineering to develop sustainable cities and communities. A recent survey among engineering employers and academics by the Engineers Island and on the extent of SDGs to be included in engineering education revealed that SDG 11 is among the top 6 SDGs selected by most to be covered in depth for engineers. I'm sure Dr. Caroline, Prof. Caroline would agree with me, right? Let me move on. Okay, I'm almost finishing. Again, as my usual, when I do a presentation, if I don't share this, it's not complete. Okay, my favorite. Okay, we live in a VUCA world, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. And then in order to prepare future leaders, we give them Viagra. I know what you're thinking. It's not that Viagra. This Viagra is versatile, inspiring, assertive, gung-ho, resourceful, agility. Now the new normal, okay, needs a new vaccine. Again, the new VUCA will be defined as vision, understanding, clarity, and agility. And then to prepare future leaders, we need to give them a vaccine, which is versatile, assertive, competent, collaborative, inspiring, networking, and empowering. Okay, I hope I have done my, 10 minutes. But around the globe, network technology is amplifying deadly misinformation. Okay, all the social media, blah, blah, blah. Monetizing surveillance, fueling hatred, and facilitating anti-democratic violence. Now, how will this phenomenon affect SDG 11? So I leave that with you to think about, ladies and gentlemen, dignitaries, to think about as we go about and trying to implement and trying to ensure that our own countries actually pay attention and do or come close to what is required by the United Nations from all the 17 SDGs. And as for tonight, is the SDG 11. So that's it. It could be said of me in this presentation, I've only made up a bunch of other men's flowers, providing my own, only the strings that tie them together. Montaigne, 1533. Okay, I am done. Okay.
That was lovely, impressive,
Okay.
impactful, ingenious, Professor.
Thank you.
Loved all the content that you shared. It was wonderful. And yes, when you just began, you began with, the idea of this goal number 17 is actually, it's a mindset. It's
Yes.
mindset rather than talking about infrastructures.
Right.
You gave all that information. And when you ended with your fantastic acronyms of VUCA, Viagra, I think that was the icing on the cake. And it's something so wonderful because acronyms is something which I'm also particularly fond of. But your acronym that you have coined is, I think, forever and ever. And I'm sure with everyone. So absolutely witty, fantastic, very impressive. And the content was just out of this world. Thank you so much, Professor, for that wonderful take on SDG 11. I'm sure everyone just took a lot from that presentation. And I tell you, the icing on the cake again, I have to say, were the acronyms, VUCA, Jackson, and Crown. Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you,
so
Alka.
much.
Thank you, Alka.
Thank you. All right. After that very impressive presentation by our professor, let's move on to our next chief guest for today evening. I mean, in India, Bangladesh, I think it's evening time, and in other countries, well, it's different time zones. But good evening, good afternoon, good morning. So let's just proceed further. I would now like to invite our chief guest, Mr. Akram Haq. Mr. Akram Haq is the founder editor of the Policy Times. A big welcome to you, Mr. Akram Haq. And yes, we are ready to listen to your take on SDG goal number 17.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alka ma'am. You have been one of the fantastic, excellent, outstanding moderators I have ever seen. I have been watching you, moderating a couple of shows. You have been doing fantastic work, ma'am. The kind of energy and articulation you bring in the discussion is really very high in class. With this, I also want to, thank and thank Almighty for giving us this chance of gathering us here today, because at the end of the day, we are all God's child. So hence, the first thanks goes to the Almighty. And then second, I thank Raja Rao sir for inviting us in this August gathering. And I, though do not deserve the title of chief guest, I'm pretty much like a person working on the ground, trying to do something. But I think all the dignitaries we have here have much more accomplishments in their own way of life than myself. Just a quick intro about me, what and how I belong. I come from a very small village of West Bengal at the corner, but coming to Delhi, New Delhi, and exploring life here from education to corporate, like working with India's leading chamber of commerce like CII and FICCI, getting connected with the policymakers, industry, academia, gave me a lot of exposure of how the world, the country, and the societies are functioning and working. So based on my past, and then we have started the Policy Times a couple of years back. The objective was that how a media can innovatively contribute in development, or what you call peace. So development is key. Development, peace, love, and justice. These are some words which are pretty much easy to pronounce, but very heavy to deliver. So how these words can be implemented and actualized on the ground we achieve is what has been also one of the core objectives of the Policy Times. I'll quickly go because I'll not go in detail. Couple of points I will just mention for our knowledge. Number one, every individual, we as individual have to be in peace to achieve our social, family, national or global peace. If we at individual level is not or are not as peace, then we cannot achieve peace at the national or macro level. Hence, first we at individual level have to achieve peace, means inner peace. And that is what is the motto of Buddhism. Buddhism only promotes that if you achieve inner peace, you achieve the global peace. And how do you achieve inner peace? There are very simple formula many of you practice is, spending more and more time with nature. There is nothing more beautiful than nature. So when God or Almighty in our religious scripture defines best place to live, then he defines that you will live, there will be a garden in front of you and there will be a river flowing behind the garden. That is where God always defines in our religious scripture when he defines your home in the paradise or heaven. The second thing is be grateful. Imagine we just passed Corona or pandemic. Imagine that if we have to buy one cylinder of oxygen, what is the cost of one cylinder of oxygen? We cannot even afford, many of us could not afford even a couple of cylinders of oxygen. Imagine what God has given us. If God starts counting the amount of oxygen that He has given without any condition, can we afford to pay? I mean, we can't. Similarly, we have good eyes, we have our full body, we have our good nature, we have our own. So everything that are around us, every day, if we feel that we are grateful to what we have, then there will be a better level of peace in our mind. The second is taking responsibility of ourselves. You know, we often, what we do when we fail, we blame others. We blame our teams, we blame our colleagues, we blame our family members. The day we stop blaming others, introspect ourselves and try to blame ourselves or taking responsibility to ourselves, the whole problem will be gone. Or we will find, in fact, better peace. The next is, love yourself. We need to love ourselves. What happens the mostly, we try to, just bypass this point that how much we love. We all also try to find out some faults in ourselves. So what we should do is, instead of doing or blaming ourselves for not being so good looking or not being so something or having some bad behavior, is we should love ourselves. We should invest in ourselves first, then invest in others. Then practicing acceptance. We should always accept what others say. So these are very easy words to say, but extremely difficult word to practice. So my only point is, why despite talking all these things, and in many platforms, like in our religious places, we talk this, in our social life, we talk this, in our national forums, we talk like this. But why we fail often to achieve this is because we don't practice what we say. That has been the major reason. We are great in saying this. All the words that I'm saying here are excellent to hear. But since I don't practice them 100%, my words are never effective to others. So, this is my humble request. Let us practice also these things. Now, coming to macro picture. I'll just give a couple of macro picture that how now God defines that there are a couple of reasons why human being will go to hell. Number one is arrogance. Arrogance is key to go. So how do you find that someone will go to hell? And these are words which are defined word, not someone's created word. How do you find that this person, or who is the person who will go to hell first? So the number one person who will go to hell is the one who has arrogance, who is very arrogant in his life and who sees everything with arrogance, ego. You see 90% of the wars that are fought in the world are because of arrogance. Arrogance is so dangerous. Arrogance is so important that this is one single feature which led many world wars happen. The second is cursing others. We often curse others. At very small, you will find there is a small argument, then you will curse others. The third is when you misappropriate orphans' wealth. These are some pretty things. Now, this definition, if explanation of these are very, time consuming. So misappropriation of wealth is also what we practice in today's corporate culture in the capitalist mode, which I'll come later. But you have to, we need to note. Now, there are 3 simple practices which defines how great nations are built, how great corporates are built, and how many countries fail to build those. These are fundamental differentiating factors, and which made many economies so prosperous, peaceful, and many other economies failing. Please mind these 3 important things very carefully, because if you give example of this and actually on ground check, I will show you the World Peace Index. We will clearly find the match. Number 1, lying. Our simple behavior of lying. Lie, jhoot bolna, when you lie to others. This is such a small thing. This is apparently it seems insignificant in our life. But our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, there was a big thief he came to Prophet. He said that I don't want to steal someone's wealth. Teach me one thing which can change my life. So Prophet said that don't lie. He just said one thing, that just don't lie. So he started practicing it. Next day, he wanted to go to do theft in someone's house. Then he realized that if I steal something today, tomorrow I have to, people will ask who did this, and then I cannot lie. I have to say that I have done this. And if I say, they will catch me. So he then could not do this stealing. He had to stop that night. So, and the story goes. So what I mean to say, if you see the commitment, when we say something, when we don't lie and when we lie, this makes 1,000 times difference. The second is protecting others' wealth. Especially it may be your investor, protecting your investor's wealth, protecting your neighbor's wealth, protecting your nation's wealth, protecting anyone's wealth. That looks very simple, but believe me, there is no crisis of wealth in this world. But there is a problem of trusting someone to protect someone's wealth. If we do so, then whatever big venture or entrepreneurial thing we want to bring in, you will find that if people can trust you, you will never face any crisis or shortage of money. The third is keeping your promises. Keeping our promise is one of the most challenging but most difficult tasks. Practice this in your life. If you can keep each and every of your promises. For example, we promised to our wife that I'll bring something for you tonight, but I don't. I promised my daughter that I'll bring something tomorrow for you. I promise a lot of things, but I miss. The moment I miss, she loses trust and faith in me. Every time I break my promise, I actually degrade myself. I actually lose my respect in my family. When I lose respect in my family, the same thing happens with my clients. The same thing happens with my stakeholders. The same thing happens with nations. Every national leader, when they promise something to their people, and when they break it, they lose faith with them. So just see, this is a small thing, but if you do that, you will make the most respectful, peaceful, loving society in the world. I think I'm short of time. The last Alka ma'am is here. So I think, ma'am, how much time I have? The last couple of points, and I'll.
So please make your points. It's
okay. Okay. Now I will come to the macro picture, which will give you some bigger clarity about how we achieve it. Number one reason for the problem in this world today is greed. There is a saying that goes that you can meet everyone's need in this world. The world has enough resources to meet everyone's need, but it doesn't have enough resources to even one person's greed. So whatever the resources we have, we cannot meet even one person's greed. Greed is so dangerous. So just I said arrogance. Arrogance is one dangerous element. The other dangerous element is greed. Any society, any economy, any system that encourages greed, you have to see and think that that is a system which will bring disruption in the society negatively. Capitalism is a prime example of how they nurture your greed. You have a beautiful TV, not enough. There are some latest features you have to buy. Otherwise, you are outdated. You have a non-branded shirt, you are wearing it, but your neighbors, they don't respect you because of not having it. You have a small car, not enough. Every day you are reminded you need a bigger car, you need a bigger house, you need a bigger, whatever, a lot of things. That greed we need to stop. The practice of greed we need to stop. If we don't, then we will have this kind of thing. The second is, distributing wealth. Greed and wealth distribution is very connected. Wealth distribution is very important because equal distribution of wealth is never possible. But at least over and misappropriation of wealth is very harmful. See, all the wars that happened in the world, has happened due to greed or due to arrogance. You see, when Britishers ruled the world or they conquered the world, why did they come? They came to accumulate wealth from other countries, and they restored or gathered their wealth in their countries. The Britishers did, the Portuguese did, the other colonizers did. What happened after that? The whole world's gold was, stored in Britain. Then World Wars happened, World War I and World War II. All those gold, then America bargained against the peace and arms supply. So what we need to do? Arms, we often say, is a drug in tobacco. These are elements which are anti-peace. So we need to have global as well as national strong policy. How did blacks, why did blacks did not succeed in America or other European countries? Is because of the excessive enforcement and use of drug. So we need to protect our political space. Politics is in the democracies is top. If you fail to protect your democratic space or political space, you find there are a lot of I'm not going in details, okay? These are things which most of you know, but we need to protect the political space, because if wrong people is in power, wrong things will come. If right people are in power, right thing will come. The second important thing, of the nation, generational change or leadership and women. Yeah. Right. There are three things now. For last, I'll say that only peace is not enough. We need love, we need peace, and we need justice. Peace is not possible or incomplete without justice. Hence, our complete ecosystem should be to bring love for each other, love for especially diverse. White will love black, Asians will love Americans. So love across without love, this is not possible. Justice is again another fundamental aspect that we need to practice. I think with this, I will end my speech. Then we can discuss later.
Super, absolutely fantastic. I love the fact that you gave it a different, different twist. You used totally, you talked about things that we take for granted normally. I mean, the fact that you said connecting with nature, for that mind, connecting with nature, accepting, stop playing the blame game. And, all these points, I think when we really start thinking about it, we realize that, where is the world going to? And when you said very nicely and that quote that you gave, the world has enough for everyone's needs, but not for everyone's greed. I think that is the crux of whatever you said just now, with the micro and macro explanation of details, and the fact that, the end part where you said that it's actually love. Love will get the peace going. If we have to talk about peace, because this is a World Peace Summit, and if we are talking about peace, then we cannot ignore love, because when love spreads across borders, across boundaries, and even in the most diverse of situations and conditions, that's the time when there is more blossoming of love. And eventually this blossoming of love will lead to peace. And that is what we're aiming for when we're talking about sustainability. So that was absolutely wonderful. I just love this fact because these are topics very close to my heart as well, especially when you started with connecting with nature, because I think that is the most important thing. We hardly in our busy lives have any time to connect with nature, but I think we ought to do that. We ought to give that time to ourselves, as you very beautifully said, love yourself. I think we need to do that, and we need to do that regularly. So thank you. A big, big thank you to you, our Dr. Akram. That was absolutely marvelous, I would say. So again, big clapping. Thank you so much. All right. So after another impressive round, I mean, a different take on SDGs, we now move on to our third chief guest for the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, able excellencies, brothers and sisters from all across the globe, our next chief guest is Mr. Deepak L. Vaikar from the land of the Merlion. If you've all been to Singapore, well, that is the land of Merlion. And he is a managing partner, Edu Energy Consultants, LLP in Singapore. So a big welcome to you, Mr. Deepak L. Vaikar. And yes, we are eagerly waiting to hear your views. I'm sure it's going to be totally different from what we have been hearing. So yes, we are ready, and a big welcome once again to you. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you. Namaste to everybody. I know when two powerful batsmen, Sachin Tendulkar and Sehwag, bat and score centuries like both, okay, chief guests, one down, Dravid has a very tough time, okay, to match that. I will try my best. Thank you very much for kind introduction. I'm really thankful, I think, to Principal Shrikant Kalurkarji, who is the first introduced me to wonderful people like Raja Rao Pagadipalli and Dr. Caroline. And that is how both of them introduced to me. And I am here second time. Okay, looks like I may have done not good job first time. So they say now, okay, फिर से करिए. Okay, one more time, do it. So with your permission, allow me to share slides, ma'am. Okay, thank you. I will quickly share my slides. So give me just few seconds, okay, and I will be live. There you go. Are you able to see my slides or not yet?
Yes, we are. We are. Perfect.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to match what Professor Khairuddin has mentioned. He has got 100 slides. I will make it 101. Okay. And okay, and definitely okay. Our Akram Bhai, आपके पास प्यार है, तो हमारे पास दिल है. Okay. Okay. We will also try to match your love with peace. So topic today, obviously, we are discussing about sustainable development goals, sustainable cities, and communities. Okay, this is Deepak Vaikar coming all the way virtually from Singapore. Okay, I would like to take blessing because we want a peace. So Om Saraswati Namastubhyam Varde Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Yes, we are invoking the blessing of Goddess Saraswati to make this World Peace Summit grand success. Okay, grand successful, not really successful, grand successful. Yes, this is for agenda for our chairperson's introduction has been done. Current scenario, I'm very happy that now some of my work has been very well done by our first two chief guests. I will quickly touch on sustainable development goals, what I'm interpreting it, challenges, opportunities, and future possibilities. Okay, future possibilities. Yes, we are focusing on goal number 1.1, sustainable cities of and communities, like what we have formed as a community. We are, all of us are communities. Okay. Now, this is not new to you, but I just want to mention because some of the things just mentioned, what type of development we should aspire to. Okay. Previous speaker has mentioned, you are thinking about it, and our anchor has rightly captured it. But let me say it, okay. What type of development we should aspire to? I call it unsustainable or bhakas. You are seeing it, okay? Unsustainable bhakas. Do you want to have like this one? What is your feeling about the mega cities rapid urbanization? Okay, some of the things have been mentioned by first chief guest. Is current rate of migration and expansion of cities and communities sustainable? If we keep on growing like this one, sustainable, and that is what SDG goals are trying to address. And all of us know necessity is mother of. Okay, necessity, need, okay, necessity, not greed, rightly mentioned, not greed. So, what do you want? Okay, sustainable or Jhakkas development, Vikas, Vikas. Okay, we want Vikas, Vikas, Jhakkas Vikas, or Bhakas Vikas. Now, two options we have got straight away. You can put in chat box, okay, which one you want to go for. Okay, Z, H for Jhakkas, or B, H for Bhakas. Okay, and all of us know that this is happening in our neighborhood if you don't take care of it. And main challenges, how about the urban? Okay, urban developments are transport is one of them I'm going to touch today. In my last discussion, I had worked on the energy and its impact on climate change. And then we will work a little bit on the waste management. So these are the two things I'm going to focus on. There are so many things because time is limited. Time is limited because of that. Okay, other aspects will be covered by that. Yes, I think our first speaker has mentioned more than half of humanity, okay, lives in cities, and by 2030, they say estimated every 6 out of 10 people will be in city. And somebody mentioned there were around 25, we'll have 43 mega cities having 10 million population, predominantly in developing region. Predominantly. So that is what not I'm saying, United Nations is saying. Okay. And under this United Nations make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Yes, our all speakers have mentioned 1 billion slum dwellers are there, and the numbers are going to increase because of the pandemic. More people have gone into poverty. Then obviously how we are connected, open public spaces, and how we are accessing public transport. That is where I think, because they say half of the, almost they say according to statistics. We look at the statistics, yes, more than, what they say, world's average is around 20.3, 20.9%, okay? They live below poverty line or in the slums. So 1 billion people, slum dwellers. This is, again, now must increase. This was 2018. But that is the latest statistics available. And I mentioned in my last presentation that air is now going from good, moderate into unhealthy, very unhealthy and hazardous region. Out of 100 most vulnerable cities, 99 are in Asia, 37 in China, 43 in India. And this is affecting our lungs, air pollution. And because our lungs were already weak, this corona, affects those whose lungs are very weak, massively disrupted. Coronomics they talk about. Now, all of them are saying when we are in Corona 2020, 2021, they say, when are you going to go back to the normal? We want to go back to the old normal. They wanted to go back to 2019, 2018, 2020, 2021, they want to forget. The question is, would you like to go back to the same old normal like this one? Transportation, pollution. Now, all of us need electricity, predominantly by coal-fired refineries, oil, we need it. And everybody is craving when the oil prices are so high. And we are producing huge quantity of garbage, which needed to be dumped or burned and create pollution. Do you want to go back there? Think about it. I have been mentioning this since 2009 when I was invited first time for the keynote, that if you do not take care of pollution, greenhouse gases, we may have to meet like this, Deepak Vaikar and anybody else, because they say half of global urban population breathes air that is 5 times polluted. 5 times polluted than, okay. So we need it. I did not know 2020 that all of us will be wearing masks. And I think we may have to continue to wear the mask even if pandemic is gone, because pollution is there. Again, that is where comes, pollution is there. Why it is happening? Why it is happening? Because all of us say, yes, we need a good transportation system. Okay, we want to go for travel, enjoy the world tour. It is one of the dreams of many of the people. And half of the population, less than half of population is only have access to walking distance, so low capacity transport, or 1,000 meter trains of ferries. It means other half, they do not have access to public transportation. Okay, they don't travel in a way, they don't pollute more. What's possible? And current challenges in transportation system, yes, we have got diesel powered train, we have got various types of big trucks. This is not that common nowadays. In some places still it is there. You can see what is happening here, but polluting coming from here. Okay, so these are the facts of current transportation systems. So how we can make it sustainable? Around July 2019, I was traveling from Singapore to Mumbai. And when I landed in Mumbai, I have seen the scenes like this one for transportation. The question arises, do you want to go back to this kind of normal? In coming July 2022, would we see again same thing? And at the time, something came to my mind immediately. Ab ke baras jab barasta hai pani, तालाब बन जाती है राजधानी. Okay, for our friends from all over the world, nowadays when it rains, capital becomes a lake. Now this is not only story of the Mumbai. You have seen just a year back in New York, before that in Paris, and before that you would have seen in Jakarta, and then recently in Chennai, and again back to Chennai. So you just name it. Okay, whenever it's going to rain, now you think about it. So, my friend, let me take you to one of the smart, clean, green world virtually. Okay, please board your flight. E-tickets given to you by Dr. Raja Rao and Caroline and Alkaji. Take your flight. Follow whatever precautions they are. We have got wonderful pilot. Alkaji is there. Caroline is there. Wonderful pilots who are going to take us to the wonderful, world of smart, clean, green, virtually. And because you're traveling virtually in a fraction of seconds, aviation, tourism, related industries were adversely affected due to pandemic. They have started humming now. They have started humming. So they are allowing you to travel. Okay, it's possible. I may be again traveling to India in July. Let's see. And if because you're traveling in the mind, which is faster than the speed of light, in a fraction of a second, you're arriving at smart, eco-friendly airport. Fraction of a second, you are here. We're inside the airport. There's a green transportation. You can breathe nice air. And if you go to senior citizens like us, myself, or somebody, then there is a robot is there to take care of your hand luggage. And obviously, using technology, everything is done fast. And that reminded me my story. Okay, I was born on the day of Deepavali, so my parents gave me name Deepak. Okay, in olden days it was a Deepa. I studied in small town and village, did my engineering, went to Banaras University, did my masters, and worked for National Power Training Institute for a few years. And then went for Canada to do my masters and came to Singapore for doing my PhD. So all about electrical engineering, electricity. Nowadays, modern days, it is a light. It brings the light. What's in the name? There is a lot in the name. Okay, I'm sure it's for everybody. Come back. In a fraction of a second, you are here, you arrived, your baggage is automatically there, done. You are arriving here, and one of my representatives taking through your high technology garden. This is a high technology garden which can take care of pollution, and you are landed wonderfully into dreamland. Now you will be with me for next few minutes till the time Alkaji disrupts us. Okay, all of us know affordable transportation system. How is it? How it is affordable? 100% in Singapore, 100% of Singapore population lives within 500 meters of public transportation stop. Okay, so all of us, public transportation is very well done in Singapore. I know all of us want the future cities with electric public transportation, metros. We need it. Okay, nice. Okay, trams. And now there is a buzzword about electric vehicles to cut down the pollution. But remember, how you produce electricity is very important. If electricity is produced, as I mentioned in my last session, by predominantly coal-fired power station, then this is not sustainable. If we go for clean green energy, it is sustainable. Yes, Singapore has made this possible. It did okay with the systematic planning, execution. And what Singapore says is human resource is the only resource in Singapore. And they have made it happen. Accessibility. Okay, yes, accessibility and network is designed here, built here properly. Though it is truly all automated one. Okay, we have got driverless trains. They work, they run on time. But most importantly, now we use technology. So you do not need to print tickets all the time, which is there all the time. Now, most important part is that system is designed in such a way a person who is physically challenged has easy access. Okay, a person who has got visual challenge, you're seeing here. Okay, with the help of person can travel with a friendly dog with him. Even if you do not have access, you can come for here. There are some lanes made by which you can go into this one and board. So you can see here, they can go and board. So that is what we inclusivity, accessibility, inclusivity to each and everyone. Most challenge, whatever, whether it's a physically challenged, visually challenged, or any other way you are challenged, the transportation system is there to help you. You can travel yourself. Okay. Yes, even local bus transportation, easy transfer is there. But again, I'm going to bring to you importance of person is helping. They are not keeping you out. Public transportation every day. Every day they can travel. They do not have to wait anybody specially to pick it up. Bus will stop at bus stop. When they see, they flag it. The person knows that person is now needs help. The bus captain will come, help, put the passenger inside, and then do the needful. If you need the help coming out, it is there. And to take care of person, because prices are now going up for the petrol and diesel, electric eco-friendly vehicles are being introduced. There. Now, what that means is, because I know the other countries, you might say, okay, Singapore is urban place. Those who are having in places, agriculture one, what we call it, sugar cane is one of the very popular one. And in India, sugar chini is very popular. But when you use lot of chini, you get what they call diabetes tsunami. And this is now becoming more and more. Now, question arises: what do you want to do it? Use this sugar cane to make sugar and become diabetics, or transform that into oil, biogas, ethanol, and use the process to the vehicle. That will reduce our dependence on the petrol and diesel. Obviously, this is still polluting, but less polluting than petrol and diesel. So what is it you want? Okay, again, BH, Bhakkas, this is the unsustainable development. This is Jhakkas, sustainable development. What is your choice? You just put in chat box, BH or Z. That brings up to very quickly one. I'm going to share with you a very important grid, what is called clean energy green transportation grid. In sustainable goal number 7, I discuss about the clean energy. We discuss about clean energy. Now today we discuss about green transportation. So there are 4 quadrants. Brown quadrant is emerging, in which we want to go into green transportation, but there are challenges and there is a low energy, clean energy. Therefore, we are not able to. But some of them just going into clean energy, they're enterprising. I'm calling them enterprising, blue quadrant. Some of them going directly into the green transportation, electric vehicle, whatever, or hybrid vehicles, enterprise. But what we need for a sustainable transportation system, sustainable, high clean energy, high green transportation. If we can mix that, it is possible. That is the goal. We had to do it because now oil prices have crossed $100 per barrel. And whenever oil prices cross $100 and more, chances are very good economic recession is there, inflation is high, and that's going to again affect us tremendously. It is not sustainable. Okay, so regarding natural disasters, Singapore is fortunate to not to get affected by hurricanes or storms, but there are still other indirect one that's still happening, but they are very low, 0.06 per 100,000. So they are managing it reasonably well. And our first speaker has mentioned about, because we are in a VUCA world, disruptions. Pandemic is one of the things we have seen it, but climate and energy crisis was going on for decades, not one, 2, 3 decades we are there. We didn't learn from that. 1970s oil shock, we didn't learn from that. We still, okay, once the shock is over, we are back to the normal. Let's go to party, okay? This VUCA world was there, will continue to there unless we take the prescription given by our first chief guest. Now, question arises, for that purpose, we have to manage our waste, okay? There is a huge quantity of waste produced globally. Singapore also produces it. The difference I will tell you, okay? In some places, you have got slash and burn, and the pollution travels. And some places you dump it, so burn or dump waste. Is it sustainable? We call it destructive one. But how? If we use technology, we use our human talent and convert this bio waste into energy. Okay, bio waste into energy, then it is what we call jackass sustainable. You make your choice, okay? And this helps green economy. Help people to come out of poverty, reduces pollution. Okay, Singapore's about 12 to 15% of electricity comes from waste converted into electricity. Waste converted into electricity. So technology is there. Only thing is you need a will. We can also convert into hydrogen. Okay, hydrogen. So technology is there. The question arises: do we have will, political will? Because this is what you see on the right side is a nice outcome. On the left side, you know what is the impact. Our goal is to reduce or avoid this bad effect of pollution. Yes, Singapore has been working, all solid waste properly collected, disposed of, and some of them is converted into the electricity, others is then treated appropriately. And their goal is to go even more. So their goal is now to go for zero waste by whatever. Okay. Everybody wants to do 2030, but zero waste. Because if that happens, and if you control the pollution, you can see the results like this. Okay. So your PM level, annual PM level is within the range. Okay. PM 2.5 is in healthy range. PM 10 is also in healthy range. Anything more than 50 is not good. So this is the story of Singapore. We want to go for green. Okay, green. They say when you put trees around your buildings, it can reduce pollution, reduce temperature. Everybody's saying there is a heat wave going on. Singapore is also hot and hotter place. But most of the time, we want to do this one person is working, others are only showing off. That is what is happening. Only one person working, others are Photoshop. You want green campuses. Yes, we should applaud our youth who wants to do some service and collect that waste and dispose it. Congratulations, such wonderful students. Congratulations. The waste management is one of the very important part. Reuse, recycle, 3 R's. We say, okay, all of us must do it. It is very important. It's part of the Sustainable Development Goal 1.1. Okay. Access to safe. So obviously, this is another very important one because of time limitation. But I think within 10 minutes walk, they want to have 400 meter. So Singapore earlier used to call green garden city. And I will show you. They used to call our garden cities, but now they want to move due to green plan. They want to move into what is known as city in garden. Okay, city in garden. This reminds me one dialogue from one of the very powerful Bollywood. Dil garden garden ho gaya. Okay, Dil garden garden ho gaya. Yeah, that is what I think. Because of time limitation, I won't show this video. Otherwise, this is what we want sustainable cities. Okay, so today I focused. Last time I focused on energy. Now we are focused more on the sanitation, transportation. That is what we are going for. Okay, good governance is very important. Thank you very much. Is there a scope for hope or pipe dream? Okay, scope for hope, pipe dream. We are there to join in collaboration with anyone for sustainable development, smart, clean, green future. We are there. We have been collaborating with this one, and we'll be happy to collaborate with Vishwa Humanitarian Foundation or any other foundation who wants to be in this. Okay. Last time mentioned, very quickly, net zero pollution. That is the goal now. Net zero pollution, net zero waste, net zero energy at its best. 2050, America. 2060, China. 2070, India. Okay, they are planning for that. So net zero pollution, net zero waste, net zero energy at its best. Make them part of everyday routine to keep our surroundings clean and green. That is what you want everybody to access. So thank you very much. This is my LinkedIn. Those who want to join, welcome to join. I have conducted such workshop many times, so I'll be happy to conduct with anybody. This is what the vision we were smart, clean and green city. This is the vision we want to promote. And we have got examples. Case study today I have shared with you. So, Om Asatoma Sadgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityuma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Because leaders from ignorance to truth. That is what we want. And peace, peace, peace. So with this one, I quickly bring back through our green transport back to your airport. You are at departure hall. You have got QR code. Scan it. Your passport is scanned. You are ready to fly. Your luggage is also sanitized. Go and board your flight while you're traveling from wonderful land of clean and green energy world. You are back there. Om Purnamadam, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamidashyate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vashisate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. I'm back to you, ma'am. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to share my views.
Oh, wow. I mean, आपके पास दिल है, हमारे पास नहीं, आपके पास प्यार है, हमारे पास दिल है, आपके पास information है, हमारे पास सीखने की तमन्ना है. You began with divine benedictions, so wonderful. It actually set the tone, and you actually were like a storyteller, a teacher, a mentor, an actor, a very good presenter, while explaining to us about your take on SDG 11. I mean, it was absolutely marvelous, and the explanation, the way you gave us those pictures, and we were in the aircraft and we were taking a flight and we were going from a not so clean city to a very clean city. How you showed that difference, I think it was absolutely wonderful. I really enjoyed myself, and I'm sure everyone did. Each and every one of you has been remarkable. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm just overwhelmed. Such a wonderful take. And you ended with Shanti, Shanti. That was brilliant, because I believe in these Vedic mantras, and I feel that they give so much peace, and ultimately that is what we are actually here for. We are at the World Peace Summit 2020 with such fantastic erudite chief guests who are throwing such fantastic light on the topic of SDG 11 we couldn't have asked for something better because they are just simply incredible. Thank you so much, Mr. Deepak. I mean, that was wonderful. And the Singapore story, it reminded me before the pandemic, I was in Singapore. So it's been now 2 years, and it was just like going back there, the way you were narrating that entire story. And yes, very clean, it was very wonderful, but I'm sure if everywhere, but the point remains that everywhere in the world, that kind of a level has to be achieved. And then only we can claim to have a world that is truly sustainable in terms of clean cities and communities. So thank you so much. And great actor you are.
दिल से कह रहा हूँ, एक्टिंग नहीं, मेरे मन से जो बातें आती है, मन से जो बातें आए,
and I love that झकास and बकास and एक और था, झकास, बकास, and there was one more. Vikas, yes, Vikas, that was wonderful. Vikas, Jhakas, the two positive ones, and one a little negative, which was Bhakas, but it was absolutely amazing. Bahut acha. It was a very nice take, from a low level going on to the real picture, going on to where we ought to be. So I think very optimistic, very hopeful. And yes, I'm sure everyone would have answered that, yes, we want a place, we want a sustainable lifestyle, we want a sustainable city, which has all the things that are basic necessities. And we don't want anything in excess, like our professor said. It's not greed that we're talking about need, and we're talking about sustainability. So great connecting all that all of you have been saying, and it has been a wonderful experience. Thank you so much. Brilliant. Absolutely.
Thank you very much, all of you, for giving me opportunity to share with you and for your kind words. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Wow, today's session is short, rocking one. Well, let's move on to our very next chief guest, ladies and gentlemen, able excellencies, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Our next chief guest is Mr. Subhash Chatterjee. He is the founder CEO from Connect India, and he is also an international speaker. So a big welcome to you, Mr. Subhasis Chatterjee. Welcome, welcome, Mr. Subhashish Chatterjee. Mr. Chatterjee, are you there? I did see you. Brother Noor, can you just check if our chief guest is there?
Well, our chief guest was there, but not right now.
All right. So in that case, ladies and gentlemen, my brother Noor is here. He is hosting today's session along with me. So now I would say bye-bye to you for a while, and it's over to you, brother Noor, to carry forward the sessions.
All right. Thank you so much. And I have to give all of you that another welcome from the Vishwa Humanity United International World Council presents the World Peace Summit 2022. And today is the 11th day. 17 SDG 17 day will going on, and today is the 11th day. And today, all the speaker will talk about the SDG 11, that is sustainable cities and communities. And before that, our chief guest will share such a wonderful presentation and such an informative discussion that is really remarkable, and that is really an honor for us in this event. So thank you so much, all the chief guests, for your constructive discussion, and we are really looking forward to the next and upcoming session as well. Thank you so much for being with us. So moving ahead, before that, I would like to introduce myself a little while. I'm Ambassador Noor Ahmed, all the way from Bangladesh. I'm the youth influencer, event coordinator, I'm the country chairperson, and most importantly, I'm a humanitarian activist. So move forward, I would like to call our first speaker of today, the keynote speaker. He will talk about the SDG 11, that is sustainable cities and communities. So let's welcome Mr. Yui Hanagaya Abid, who is the founder of Youth Leaders and Ambassador Network, Arwanda. So my dear brother, Mr. Yuyehan Gaya Abid, floor is yours. Dear honorable brother, are you there? All right. So let's move on to the next speaker today. Okay, our next speaker, the eminent speaker of the today, that is Ambassador Ibrahim Amoigua, who is the voice of Hope Youth Organization International from Sierra Leone. So my dear brother, Ambassador Ibrahim Amoigua, brother, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, floor is yours. Brother Moigua. Okay. My dear brother, Moigua maybe is not there. It may happen for the technical glitch and some other things. So move on to the next speaker as well. So I would like to call the next speaker. On their honorable, the next speaker is the international speaker, motivator, trainer, lecturer, hypnotherapist, translator, interpreter. So my dear honorable, I would like to call Rudi Salam Sinulinga. Rudi Salam Sinulinga from Indonesia. My dear brother, are you there? All right, Brother Rajaro, should I proceed to the next speaker? All right, so, okay. Then I would like to call the next speaker, and next speaker, Mr. Safir Khan Abdul, who is the chairman of IHRN in Sri Lanka. So my dear honorable, Mr. Safir Khan Abdul. All right, so yes, thank you. So it's really will be the wordless if I introduce the next speaker, because he is not international speaker. He is not only the educator, scientist. He is more than that. Whenever you are going to his all the designation, all the contribution, you will be definitely be speechless. So, brother, I have no words to introduce more of that. But before that, I want to share you that you are the international speaker. You are the great motivator, scientist, educators. Wow. It's a powerful package, and you are the leading ruler of the youth, that you are focusing on the youth in IIU. So all the things. So I would like to call the next speaker of the today, one of the eminent speaker. He will talk about it. This is 11. So Dr. Pratik Rajan Mangeshwar, all the way from India. So brother, floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brother No, for your kind introduction. Am I audible, everyone? Okay. So I will not take much time. I'll start with today's topic, SDG Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. So what's the goal is? Make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. There is a strong link between the quality of life in cities and how cities draw on and manage the natural resources available to them. So today, the trend towards urbanization has been accompanied by increased pressure on the environment and accelerated demand for basic services, infrastructure, jobs, land, and affordable housing, particularly for the nearly 1 billion urban poor who live in informal settlements. Due to their high concentration of people, infrastructures, housing, and economic activities, cities are particularly vulnerable to climate change and natural disasters impacts. Building urban resilience is crucial to avoid human, social, and economic losses, while improving the sustainability of urbanization processes is needed to protect the environment and mitigate disaster risk and climate change. So resource efficient cities combine greater productivity and innovation with lower cost and reduce environmental impacts, while providing increased opportunities for consumer choices and sustainable lifestyles. So the SDG 11 targets identify key factors that must be addressed to make cities more sustainable, inclusive, resilient, and safe. So there are 7 targets basically. So I will not go into much details. So I'll specify the targets. 11.11, which is safe and affordable housing and basic services. 11.2, safe, sustainable transport systems. 11.3, inclusive urbanization and participatory integratory planning. 11.4, culture and natural heritage. 11.5, resilience to disasters. 11.6, reduce environmental impact of cities. 11.7, green and public spaces. In 11.7, we have 3 sub-points or sub-targets also, which is 11.A, rural-urban linkages. 11.B, integrated policies and plans. 11.C, financial and technical support for sustainable and resilient buildings. So cities, now there are some facts and figures which are very important here. So cities account for 65% of SDG targets and 86% of SDG indicators. That means that making cities more sustainable, safe, resilient, and inclusive, which I told earlier also, will help us to achieve many of the SDGs. As economic powerhouses with over 80% of global GDP, cities have important environmental impacts. So first, 2% of land area usage. Second is 71 to 76% of energy-related global greenhouse gas emissions. Third, over 70% of resource use. Then cities present use sustainable investment opportunities. So in that, as of 2015, 75% of global urban infrastructure that will exist in 2050 has yet to be built. So sustainable development in cities can save $3 trillion in infrastructure spending by 2030. Social equity in cities. Next is social equity in cities. So global urban population is expected to grow from over 50 to 70% by 2050, with a majority of that growth occurring in Asia, and you can say Africa also. Urban poverty rates are falling more slowly than global poverty. Approximately 25% of the global urban population, which is 1 billion out of 3.9 billion, live in slums. So the fastest growing urban populations also have the least access to services per capita. So 279 million lack electricity, 780 million lack safe drinking water, 2.5 billion lack basic sanitation. So this was the current scenario which we are facing. Now, next is environmental dimension of SDG 11. So the environment is intrinsic to SDG 11, recognizing the need for critical urban infrastructure to be low emission, resource efficient, and resilient. For example, target 11.2 calls for universal access to safe, affordable, accessible, and sustainable transport system, which has direct environmental impacts on land use, resource use, air quality, and climate. Another example is target 11.6, explicitly calls on countries to reduce the per capita environmental impact of cities, including by paying special attention to air quality and waste management. Target 11.7 calls for universal access to safe, inclusive, and accessible green and public spaces, which, among other things, help to purify air and absorb rainwater. Target 11.5 and 11B call for increased investment in disaster risk resilience strategies, policies, and interventions. So there are indicators also. So indicator 11.5.1 and 11.5.2 specifically focus on reduction of economic loss and loss of life resulting from disasters, whereas 11.B.1 and 11.B.2, these all indicators are available on internet, so you can check by searching them. So measure the development of disaster risk reduction strategies by both local and national governments in line with the Standard Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction 2015 to 2030. Lastly, 11.4 calls for stronger efforts to protect and safeguard natural heritage, which is aligned with many environmental conservation efforts around the world. Now, my question is, why SDG 11? That's the basic question. So over 90% of COVID-19 cases are occurring in urban areas. Occurred basically with the 1 billion residents of the world densely populated slums being hit the hardest. Even before the coronavirus, rapid urbanization mean that 4 billion people, over half of the global population in the world cities, face worsening air pollution, inadequate infrastructure and services, and unplanned urban sprawl. So successful examples of containing COVID-19 demonstrate the remarkable resilience and adaptability of urban communities in adjusting to new norms. So what are some of the most pressing challenges that cities face today? Inequality and the levels of urban energy consumption and pollution are some of the challenges. Cities occupy just 3% of the Earth's land, but account for 60 to 80% of the energy consumption and 75% of carbon emissions. So many cities are also more vulnerable to climate and natural disasters due to their high concentration of people and location. So building urban resilience is crucial to avoid human, social, and economic losses. Why should I care? This is very important. Why should I care? All these issues will eventually affect every citizen. Inequality can lead to unrest and insecurity. Pollution deteriorates everyone's health and affects workers' productivity, and therefore the economy and natural disasters have the potential to disrupt everyone's lifestyles. Next, what happens if cities are just left to grow organically? The cost of poorly planned urbanization can be seen in some of the huge slums. I will not take much time, just give me 2-3 minutes more. So the cost of poorly planned urbanization can be seen in some of the huge slums, tangled traffic, greenhouse gas emissions, and sprawling suburbs all over the world. By choosing to act sustainably, we choose to build cities where all citizens live a decent quality of life and form a part of the city's productive dynamic, creative, shared prosperity, and social stability without harming the environment. So as of May 2022, the majority of national and city governments are revisiting urban planning to help prevent the next pandemic. So it is expensive to put sustainable practices in place. So the cost is minimal in comparison with the benefits. For example, there is a cost to creating a functional public transport network, but the benefits are huge in terms of economic activity, quality of life, the environment, and the overall success of a networked city. And lastly, what can I do to help achieve the goal? So take an active interest in the governance and management of your city, advocate for the kind of city you believe you need, develop a vision for your building, street, and neighborhood, and act on that vision. Are there enough jobs? Can your children walk to school safely? Can you walk with your family at night? How far is the nearest public transport? What is the air quality like? What are your shared public spaces like? The better the conditions you create in your community, the greater the effect on quality of life. And lastly, I would like to show the pictures. So I'm just sharing. Just allow me to share the screen. So this is the theoretical and technical points which I covered. Now the implementation part, I'm into Kingdom of Atlantis, which is a decentralized sovereign kingdom, and we are there are lots of projects on sustainable smart cities which we are working. So I just want to show the upcoming projects, which is, so this is I discuss. So as you can see here, this is the hybrid hydrogen electric floating suit design. Okay, so this hybrid hydrogen electric floating suit will be available for all this thing. Then next is C. As you can see here, this is our sustainable smart cities, projects. We are working on stem cells also. Then we have a residential districts. As you can see here, this is ocean view luxury concept design. These are designs which we are working right now. As you can see here, this is electric vehicle prototyping concept. Then electric vehicle prototyping concept. Then we are working on AI. There are lots of projects which we are doing. This is as you can see here, hybrid hydrogen electric ferry. Then this is hybrid electric motorcycle concept. Then okay, so I think as you can see here, this is wastewater treatment plant. So all comes under sustainable cities and communities. This is the implementation point of view. I'm showing these pictures. This is agriculture district, sustainable vertical farming concept, sustainable food production concept. Then this is sustainable dairy farming concept. Then we have agriculture district, sustainable, as you can see here, sustainable fishery and sea concept. This is underwater. There are some projects, underwater park district and the marina. So with this, I'll stop here. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Dr. Rajarao and Dr. Caroline for inviting me here again. This is my second time. And I'm so proud to be here. I would like to thank all my listeners for patiently listening to me, and kudos to the organizers. Thank you.
Wow, what a powerful package of speech, I have to say, because you also focus some highlighted major targets, you focus the present scenario, you focus on challenges, as well as you focus on probable solution. Even you focus some other picture of that will be the actual scenario for the SDG 11. That is really a complete package where we find every single thing in a while. Thank you so much for your constructive discussion. And yes, every time we love to hear from you. And this is really an honor for us. Thank you so much for being with us. So, hello everyone, let's move on to the next speaker today. So I would like to call the Honorable Dr. Mahmoud Abuda, who is the President of International Organization for Development and Peace. So Honorable Mahmoud Abuda, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, please, here is yours. Yeah, Honorable Mahmoud Abuda, you are here, can you unmute yourself? Honorable? All right, sure. So now I'd like to hand over to our brother Rajarao Gidibali for board of thanks and for the other session. Thank you. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Namaste. Actually, the need of the hour is to urgently shift to e-mobility and renewable energy.
Dr. Raja, I have nothing to add in. Thank you very much.
Sir, in my opinion, this is Shrikant. Can you hear me, sir? Yeah. In my opinion, the traffic management and the transport system is need of the time to make it sustainable development, especially from the perspective of the smart and sustainable cities. And because the traffic has created a lot of pollution, and as Dr. Vaikaro sir was mentioning, and I am associated with NIT Patna, where a project in this regard is going on for the government of India also, where the traffic management is treated as one of the most important aspects for developing the smart cities to be more sustainable. Thank you.
Yes, I'm there. Yes. No. I've written one book on introduction to sustainable development goals. So I have researched all the goals. So I'm compatible with any goal. Yeah, and it has got many international awards also for that book.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. As you are the great pillar, you move the mountains. So you can do anything. You have that inner power. and Almighty also blessed you abundantly. Thank you very much. Feeling that I'm your backbone and supporting you, but you have inner power, inner strength. So God has bestowed that. I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart, Professor Khairuddin, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It is an amazing speech and heart-touching. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Your inputs and insights are so great. It is more helping us. So we are learning how a professor should be. So I'm learning from you. I would like to thank Akram, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It is a heart-touching speech, and humanitarian thoughts, humanitarian deeds are very important. Then only God will bless us. So really amazing, sir. What is the reality of human life that you have shown us? I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart, Deepak, sir. Thank you very much, sir. You have taken us to Singapore, a smart city and clean and green city. And you made us a pilot, Alka ma'am and me. Once upon a time, my dream was air hostess, but you have transformed me to be a pilot and you have taken us to Singapore. I felt as if I'm in Singapore. So great feeling, really amazing and appreciable, sir. Thank you very much. I would like to thank Pratik, sir. Thank you, sir. Every time I see you, your speeches and the information you give us is so depth. Really, being so young, you've been a professor and you're transformed into international speaker, motivational speaker, and writer, orator. It's not a joke having a multifaceted life. So really, sir, accepting our invitation and being on Zoom platform and making our World Peace Summit into the next level only because of your presence. Thank you very much. I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart, Vincent, sir. Thank you, sir, for being with us every day and giving us a great inspiration and strength to us. With your August presence, we are feeling more motivated and feeling more jubilant and vibrant. And we are taking up our summit in a great way. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
I would like to thank Srikanth Kalluka, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, you are busy in spite of your busy schedule, you are being with us and supporting us. And also you have introduced Deepak, sir. So thank you very much, sir. I would like to thank each and every, thank you, sir. I would like to thank each and every eminent speaker, dignitaries, honorable chief guest, keynote speakers for being with us and making our summit more powerful with your presence, with your speeches, with your inspirational information and insights and inputs which you are giving us. Thank you very much. And also I would like to thank Alka Mahajan ma'am and Noor Muhammad brother. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and being here and hosting the summit from yesterday and today. It was a great day because you are taken up to the next level with your eminent presentation. So thank you very much for being with us. And I hope in future also you're going to be with us. Thank you once again. I would like to thank my brother, Dr. Rajarao Pagadipalli, for being making the summit in an extraordinary way, I can say, because it's not an easy task taking up the summit for 18 days continuously without any interruption. As we are receiving the flyers, we are receiving the flow of program, receiving individual invitation, everything, the pains he has taken is not a simple thing. I always feel how many hours is sleeping, I do not know. He's taking a lot of pains. I'm sure the pains will be answered in the form of a reward and appreciation. Early morning, I get up and pray to God and also pray for Rajarao's brother family and his happiness. So thank you, brother, for taking the summit for the welfare of the nation, welfare of the society, and welfare of the world. So let us move ahead in future and continue our deeds and support the nation at our level. Thank you very much.
Recording stopped.